If PJ Washington had read my books, he wouldn't be paying child support right now.
Now available in paperback and Kindle. Stop simping in cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today.
One of my viewers wanted me to talk about the situation between your PJ Washington and Brittany Renner. Now, the viewer wanted me to talk about how your Brittany Renner is an example of a predatory cougar. And after here reading the story regarding PJ Washington and your Brittany Renner, I have to agree that this is a cautionary tale on dealing with predatory cougars. Now, your PJ Washington was a rookie NBA player who just signed with the Charlotte Hornets for big money. And your PJ Washington, after signing with the Charlotte Hornets, then decided to go and get an Instagram model girlfriend, Brittany Renner, who is actually 7 years older than he is. Now, when I take a critical examination of your PJ Washington, he is a textbook example of a young man who is still in his simp phase. And I talk all about the simp phase in my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, which is available on Amazon.com. And your PJ Washington is still 22 years old. He's young and naive, and he still does not know much about the world, and he does not know much about women. And because he was signing a big NBA contract and was getting his first taste of real money and real freedom, your PJ Washington did not know about the predators who lurked around places like the NBA. And because he wanted to become a part of what he thought was that NBA lifestyle, he got involved with this Brittany Renner, who appeared to be an ideal woman to be with, but he didn't understand that this so-called ideal was a real female predator, like I talk about in my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, because your Brittany Renner was one of these Instagram models, and what your PJ Washington doesn't understand is an Instagram model is not actually a model. No, a model is somebody who is signed with an agency and somebody who books gigs through an agency for work. An Instagram model is not a real model. No, an Instagram model is a woman who takes pictures of herself in skimpy clothes and lingerie to get the attention of simps who will go out here and drop messages inside of her direct messages and then go out here and get these guys to give her big donations in their cash apps because she knows that these guys are thirsty for more pictures of her and an opportunity to get attention from her. But because your PJ Washington was 22 and he did not have any men in his life like his father to sit down and tell him about female predators like this, what happened to your PJ Washington is he got caught up in trying to have a high status social girlfriend, and he thought, oh, this Instagram model who is older would be a great catch. And the big hook for him with this Instagram model was that she was 29 years old, and for him at 22, he probably thought getting with this older woman would be a nice feather in his cap because Madison Avenue in Hollywood oftentimes promotes the idea of relationships between older women and younger men. And they push this in movies like American Pie, where they first created the whole concept of the MILF. And they've promoted it in numerous other movies all throughout the 80s, such as My Tutor and a couple of other movies. I remember one where Demi Moore played the older woman. She played it in two movies, where it was one movie with a historical film called The Woo Woo Kid. And there was another one where I think she was with John Cusack, but they always push this idea of an older woman being somebody that a man should go out here and get with. But in reality, when a boy goes out here at 22 and he gets involved with a older woman like who was 29, like Brittany Renner, what he's doing is showing that he still has serious mommy issues, and he's looking for a woman to lead him. And what happens to guys like this is the female predators, they see these guys looking for a mommy type figure to lead them, and then they lead them straight into a trap. And your PJ Washington wasn't aware of the trap that Brittany Renner was leading him in, because even though he had his father in his life, his father never told him about predatory older women, and that predatory older women, they're not looking to be a wife or a helpmeet. No, they're looking to help themselves at your expense. And that's what your Brittany Renner was looking to do with your PJ Washington, who was still in his simp phase. She was looking to lead him so that she could get a payday at his expense. And as she pursued a relationship with your naive PJ Washington, she wound up getting pregnant, and then she wound up having his son. And now your PJ Washington is now paying huge amounts of money in child support, and he's now got to deal with drama from this baby mama. And what's really sad about this whole situation with your PJ Washington is that this is a situation he might have been able to avoid had some men came to him and sat down and talked to him, because your Brittany Renner was rumored to have already been around the block with multiple NBA players looking for a bag, and because those guys already knew what this Barbie doll looking bimbo was up to, what they did was they bagged up their junk, had a little fun with this woman, and then groomed her to the curb to be taken advantage of by the next player out here. And unfortunately, your PJ Washington didn't get the memo regarding your Brittany Renner, and because he did not get the memo regarding Brittany Renner, he wound up becoming the simp who wound up getting taken advantage of by this female predator. And now that she's got her bag in the form of six-figure child support, now she's going off to go have her fun for the rest of her life. And now that's why she's talking to guys like Mr. High Value Simp, your Kevin Samuels, right now, because she's going to go now and take all of PJ's money, and she's going to go out here and live her best life at his expense, even though he was out here looking to build with this woman, because according to reports, he was sitting there thinking that he could go out here and build with this woman. He was thinking he could go out here and have this woman as a wife. He was trying to move her in. He was trying to do what men are supposed to do, but the problem was he didn't have anybody there to sit down and talk to him about vetting women, because just like men have to be vetted by the father when they're pursuing relationships with a daughter, a man needs to take a woman to his mother so that she can take a critical assessment of her, because a mother can look at a woman and tell you if she is a harlot, and a mother can sit down and tell you if this woman is foul. And usually a good mother, when she starts hearing things like this woman is 29 years old, she's going to put up some red flags as related to her 22-year-old son, because she's going to realize that at 29 years old, this woman is not playing in her lane, and she's not dealing with men of her own age group. And that's really questionable, because usually a woman who is looking to be a wife, she's looking for a man who is in his 30s, and she's looking for a man who will be a leader. Usually when it comes down to 22-year-old guys, they're usually dealing with 17, 18, 19-year-old girls. And when you see an older woman looking for younger men, oftentimes it's because they're looking for power and control. And they're looking for that power and control because They are afraid of male authority. They're afraid of male leadership. And what they want to do is find a guy they can take advantage of. And that's what your Brittany Renner was looking for. A guy she could take advantage of to get a bag for herself and then continue going on participating in her Instagram model hustle, where she would go out here continuing to take pictures of herself. And that's what a female predator does, like a Brittany Renner, who talked about this on the Jackson State University campus. She basically was telling everybody she was a female predator, and these guys, they're not really, because they're not thinking critically, because they're caught up in her Barbie doll makeup and not seeing what her character is. They're not really seeing how this female is basically a predator looking to take advantage of them, because many of these guys are so caught up in their lust. All they're thinking about is getting in the skid marks of thong, and they're thinking about getting access to their taste of the atomic waste. And because they're looking for that taste of the atomic waste, they wind up in a place they wish they had not been in, and that's where your PJ Washington is right now. And at 22, he's learning a very hard lesson about dealing with female predators, one that he will, as I see it, never forget, because this is something that this is a person he's going to be stuck with for the rest of his life. He's going to be stuck with this baby mama now for the next 18 to 21 years, and he has to be there because she's going to practically destroy his son if he does not stay in there. And he sadly set himself up for this trap because he did not have that foundation in how to deal with female predators. And that's something that you get when you have your parents there to sit down and talk to you, and you have other men to give you books like I have written, like Stop Simpin', Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. And this boy definitely could have benefited from reading Stop Simpin' and Stop Simpin' in Cyberspace and The Misadventures of Captain Save-'em, because those books could have saved him a lot of grief, and they could have helped him identify a female predator like Brittany Renner, who, once you look past the makeup and the Barbie doll weave, you realize that you're dealing with a female predator, and this cougar is out stalking prey so that she can get a payday. Now, I have to say that your PJ Washington, he really wanted to start out doing things right, but unfortunately, he didn't understand that the woman you get involved with is a reflection of you, and you have to really think past the surface of the image that you're presenting, because he thought, oh, I'm going to have this model being a reflection of me, but he didn't understand that a model is not a reflection that a man should want out here, because her behavior is less than model. When you're looking at women, you want to get a woman who has character. You want to get with a woman who has a good moral center. And if she's out here selling pictures of herself on Instagram and pretending she's a model to get Cash Apps and PayPal donations, this is not a woman you want to get, because her character is not ethical, because what she's looking to do is manipulate all of these simps and get small paydays at their expense in the hopes of getting a bigger payday. And that's what she was trying to do, going out here looking to go out here and let these guys, they practically use her body, because she wanted to go out here and sell herself to the highest bidder. And sadly, once you got a high bidder like a PJ Washington, he wound up with a lemon of a woman, and now he's stuck in a situation where he's going to be stuck with this woman paying child support for the next 21 years, and it's 6 figures, and he's practically jammed himself up. And he's jammed himself up because there was no man there to teach him about manhood. And that's what happens in some households when you have beta male fathers who don't know much about life. They can't sit down with their sons and tell them what the deal is when it comes down to dealing with certain women. Yes, she's older than you, but that should be a red flag, because, again, an older woman at 29 usually is married. A 29-year-old woman usually has some kids. and a 29-year-old woman is set up with her husband at that point. And if you've got a 29-year-old woman looking to go into pools of young boys who are 18 to 21, she's looking for a payday, and she's looking for a guy to have control over, because she's looking for a naive tool that she can take advantage of while she's getting some easy sex from a naive guy who doesn't know the game that's about to be played on him. Now, if you want to learn how to avoid predatory females like this Instagram model, Brittany Renner, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And if you want to learn how to avoid online female predators like this IG model, Brittany Renner, you can also pick up my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, and learn the gimmicks and tricks that these females use to take advantage of naive young men. And if you want to see me make more videos like this viewer requested, you can donate to my Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. And if I know something about that subject, I will make that video for you. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available for the first time in paperback, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Learn all the reasons why so many Black women can't find a husband, and why 70% of Black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today.